Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Omiyad Afshar had an interesting anecdote about Tesla. His official role is Office of the CEO at Tesla, but he's really like Elon's right-hand man. He was talking about the spray painting that Elon did years ago that I had as the outro of yesterday's video. That was March 2018, and Omiyad said this: "I feel strongly if we did not get the push from Elon to clear everything out that weekend, 36 hours was the expectation, we would not have gotten through Model 3 production hell as quickly as we did. Something he tells us often is to use a watch and not a calendar. Hours and minutes count, not days and weeks. In this case, if we had finished in 36 hours and 10 minutes, we'd be late. That level of urgency has an immensely positive impact and compounds across all aspects of the business, from manufacturing to engineering and more." I thought that was really important to share as a reminder of Tesla's core competency. I know many of you out there miss the olden days of Tesla when fighting FUD was really done with Tesla's engineering prowess. So look, I miss that too, but the truth is this is still a huge part of the Tesla culture, and it is going to pay off with Tesla's next growth wave. It's just a reality that it's going to require an S-tier level of patience for us all to get to that point. The same company that most of us fell in love with is still there, executing quietly. But this business evolution, going from a company that sells cars and battery storage to an embodied AI company, is certainly going to take time. The data for the first week of new Model Y sales out of China is in. The number came in 12,400. Comparing that to the same week in Q4, that number was 18,600. So quarter over quarter, Tesla China is now down 41.6%. Comparing to week 9 in Q1 of last year, that number was 12,500, which means year over year, Tesla China is now down 9.7%. The breakdown was 5,800 Model 3s and 6,600 Model Ys. When the Model Y lines are at full capacity, they've been known to pump out between 14,000 and up to nearly 17,000 units per week. Just remember, these are not production numbers, they're the weekly insured units, which effectively serves as a proxy for sales. We also got the wholesale figure for February, which came in at 30,688, which, yes, is technically down nearly 50% from February of last year, which was 60,300. You might be sick of hearing it, but the truth is most of this decline is thanks to the changeover to the new Model Y. You can pause this screen if you'd like, but it's the same data, just a different visualization. An update on delivery timelines: Tesla's most popular variant, the rear-wheel drive, is 2 to 4 weeks, and the long-range all-wheel drive is still 6 to 10 weeks. To make it clear, I'm not using the Model Y changeover as a get-out-of-jail-free card for Tesla right now. This table is from Troy Teslike, comparing Tesla's Model 3 sales to Xiaomi's new SU7, which debuted in March of last year. From April of last year through January of this year, Model 3 sales rounded came in at 153,000, whereas the SU7 came in at 162,000. However, another reason I wanted to share this is because it's not the best comparison. Xiaomi is not really exporting the SU7 in high volume yet. They're about to, but most of this data is made up of domestic sales, and we know Tesla does export the Model 3 from Shanghai. Plus, as mentioned, these are really the first few months that the SU7 was available on the market for a brand that is very well known in China. With that said though, as far as we can tell, the SU7 is selling incredibly well, and right now the wait time for some trims is 34 to 37 weeks. And as you can see, low production figures are likely not the cause for those numbers. The demand does seem to be quite robust. The new SU7 Ultra, the performance variant that just launched, got over 6,900 orders in 10 minutes. Shortly thereafter, it went over 19,000 units, and their plan for the whole year was only 10,000 units. Their CEO said sales have progressed far beyond expectations so far. This is very important to be aware of because Xiaomi is set to launch the YU7, which is their first SUV, which is expected to compete directly with the Model Y. That's supposed to hit the market in June or July this year. So we don't have political problems in China, but over there, the main challenge for Tesla is definitely heightening competition. So it's true that for January of this year, the Model Y was still the best selling electric vehicle in the world. That's full BEV or plug-in hybrid. And we still have the Model 3 in the 4th spot. The lead for the Model Y is likely to take a big hit when the February data comes in, given the changeover, but we'll keep an eye on this throughout the year. Just know, as we said early last year, Xiaomi would definitely be a name to watch given how well known they are in the smartphone world, and so far the SU7 has been a huge hit and the YU7 is coming soon. Tesla did get a legal win today as their move to Texas was ruled valid by a Delaware judge. Yes, Miss Kathleen McCormick. She rejected a bid to invalidate the reincorporation, saying the case involved the same issues resolved last year in a separate lawsuit that sought to block Trade Desk's move to Nevada. The same reasoning from that Trade Desk case was referenced. A reincorporation is not a charter amendment, even when it has the same practical effect. Plus, this drumbeat is getting louder. They're now calling it the DEXIT, or the Delaware exit, which is dividing the state's close-knit legal community and driving potentially seismic changes to a body of corporate law that sets the tone for businesses nationwide. But good news, Tesla moving to Texas is now legally in the clear. The last 48 hours when it comes to tariffs have been quite the whirlwind. It's been a challenge to keep up. However, it's a bit too early to get into the impacts because the Trump administration could announce a pathway for tariff relief on Mexican and Canadian goods covered by NAFTA as soon as tomorrow, March 5th. The Commerce Secretary said both the Mexicans and the Canadians were on the phone with me all day today trying to show that they'll do better, and the president's listening because he's very, very fair and very reasonable. So I think he's going to work something out with them. It's not going to be a pause, none of that pause stuff, but I think he's going to figure out, you do more and I'll meet you in the middle some way, and we're going to probably announce that tomorrow. He also discounted the notion that the tariffs would be fully rolled back. But again, no worries, when the dust settles here and it looks like these tariffs may stay in place for more than a few hours, we'll get into how it may impact Tesla and the EV industry. Clearly, we're in the negotiating phase for all of this, but as of now, the word is the US and Ukraine are set to sign a minerals deal. Trump is seeking $500 billion worth of Ukraine's rare earth and critical minerals. Estimates show about 5% of the world's critical raw materials are located in Ukraine. This includes millions of tons of reserves of graphite, and the country also holds significant reserves of critical metals like copper, zinc, silver, nickel, and cobalt. In case you missed it, I wanted to share this post from CERN. If you're not following him already, I would encourage that you do. In that note yesterday, Adam Jonas from Morgan Stanley said that for every 1% of the US labor force that can be captured by Optimus, it's worth about $100 per Tesla share. A heads up, I did double check all of this data and math. The US labor force is about 170 million people. 1% of that is 1.7 million. So for every 1.7 million bots, that's $300 billion in market cap for Tesla. That's because 1.7 million bots would be that 1% of the US labor force, and given that there's just over 3 billion Tesla shares outstanding, you would multiply that number by $100 per Tesla share to get that roughly $300 billion market cap increase for Tesla. CERN went ahead and extrapolated from there. If you continue that math at 17 million bots, that's $3 trillion, which is just multiplying by 10. And finally, assuming that Jonas used a PE of 30, that $300 billion incremental market cap would mean Tesla would earn about $10 billion in profit. That math is just 300 billion, the price, divided by 10 billion, the earnings, which gives us 30. And under that assumption, $10 billion in profit divided by 1.7 million bots is only about $5,800 in profit per year per bot, which CERN astutely pointed out does seem rather low. And yes, I will say Adam Jonas has not always been the sharpest tool in the shed when it comes to understanding the Tesla story. But over the past 2 years, I will give him credit, he's come a long way. My point though, this is one of the first times we have a Wall Street analyst openly talking about a model, if you want to call it that, for Optimus. And this is fairly simple math to follow, but it's clear how easy it becomes to start adding trillions of dollars to Tesla Tesla's market cap. Now sure, for Tesla to produce 17 million bots, that'll likely take us into the early 2030s. And I know Elon would probably argue it'll happen sooner, but don't forget, Elon also said that Tesla would be making 20 million vehicles a year sometime soon, and that's not going to happen. So it's still the case that most of the analysts on Wall Street, including outlets like ARK Invest, are still attributing $0 for the Optimus opportunity. Thus, this could mark the beginning of that slowly starting to change over the next 12 months. It looks like Uber and Waymo are officially going to beat Tesla to the line in Austin. Starting today, passengers in Austin can request a driverless Waymo car through the Uber app. Dara said, you know, humans make mistakes as well, so nothing in life can be perfect. But I think you can rest assured that when you're taking Waymo on Uber, it's the safest ride available to you today. I found this one to be quite interesting. In an interview with the Financial Times, BYD has revealed it plans to cooperate with competitor Tesla in an attempt to reduce the number of petrol cars on the road. Their executive vice president said, "Our common enemy is the internal combustion engine car. We need to work together to make the industry change." She also claimed BYD is still willing to share technologies with foreign companies. And get this, she referenced autonomous driving software as well as EV technology. And this offer to collaborate comes despite escalating geopolitical tensions between China and the US. I will say historically, the Financial Times has been solid, but they also put out that piece that Tesla's FSD was going to be delayed in China for a while, and then like 2 weeks later, it rolled out. However, I would also say that in the past, Elon has said they're only really thinking about licensing FSD if the company that's interested actually has sufficient scale to make it worth Tesla's while, which we know BYD does. Then back to the doubtful column, BYD just announced its God's Eye autonomous system across its vehicle lineup. But as we've said, given how new it is, I still have my doubts about how far along and how robust that model really is. So for now, let's just say my skeptical antennas are up for this one, but it's the most tangible reporting we've heard on the topic. Tesla is now offering 0% APR or nothing down at signing for the Model 3 in the US. I'll send you guys off with some impressive clips of FSD in China, but first, Tesla stock ended a roller coaster type of day at $272.04, down 4.43%, while the Nasdaq was down 0.35%. It was another higher volume day, trading about 58% above the average. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please like the video. If you did, you can find me on X, linked below, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.